Hi, this is Bill.
Hi, Bill. This is Lani Alpert. How are you doing?
Oh, very good. Thank you for calling me. This is wonderful. I was so excited to talk with you. I always listen to you. Well, I'm a big fan. Let's just put it. We'll settle it right there, okay?
I get it.
And you know, it was last week. I said I want to listen to some little bossa nova, a little Latin music flavor.
Yeah?
And and I got to admit, your husband Herb been married 40 years, hasn't it been?
This December.
Wow, what, congratulations. And there's a video, and excuse me for not recalling his name, but I saw you in it, and they were doing a photo shoot, and
Come what may.
It's
So beautiful. It's like a home movie.
let me tell you this. I see this video of you singing this beautiful song, and I see this very striking man.
Yes.
Extremely handsome, and I'm jealous, okay? And I'm looking at the thing, and I said, wow, she's done a music video with somebody, and I'm thinking, who is this man? And I'm looking at the love in your eyes, right at him, and I say to myself, she loves this guy.
I love this guy.
Yeah, I did not know it was Herb Alpert. I did not know this. And I said, I have to see what's going on with her. And I saw you have a book out.
I have a book, and we just finished an album, and we're going to go on, we've been on the road for like 7 years.
Oh, you have, wonderful for you, wonderful.
We've been touring around the United States and Canada, and just having a good time. We're doing primarily jazz. I do some Brazilian songs in the show, but
Great.
it's a primarily jazz show, and it's just so much fun, and we have a great band, and it's just great.
June 2nd, you're coming to the Park West,
Yes.
and that's a Sunday, and you have an evening with your husband and yourself, and I know it's going to be beautiful.
Because the Park West is, kind of an elegant place, and
Yes, it is.
I played there a long time ago, and I really liked it. I thought the acoustics were really good, and
Your memory is correct. It's such an intimate venue. You can't get a bad seat at the Park West. And then you're going to also, for people who want to buy your book and get it signed by you, you're going to be at a place called Foodease, June 4th. And that's
a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
From 1 to 2:30.
1 to 2:30. Okay, and that's at the Water Tower Place, I think, Foodease.
That's at Water Tower Place on the mezzanine level.
I got to talk to you. I devoured your book. Okay.
Oh, my.
I went through it like in 5 hours, and that was just how fast I read that. I just couldn't get enough. It seems to be mainly about you. Is that correct? Am I getting the right sense?
Well, I've never been in a bear attack, and I've never killed anyone.
I forgot the bear attack.
There's 3 stories. The first story, the last 2 stories are nonfiction. Those are true. Those are from my life. And all the emotional memoir pages that are before all the stories are my life. Stories that are fictional, they reflect a certain amount of, we had a bad therapist, and so I wanted to write about bad therapy, and that's what my imagination came up with, the second story, Standing a Point. And I wanted to write a love poem to Chicago, and that was Mr. Belmont.
Yes.
There are things about all the stories I'm in there, but 7 of them are fictional stories. They didn't happen to me. For example, The Cleaning Lady.
Oh, wonderful.
All the stories that the woman that's getting drunk that wants to kill herself.
Yes.
The one that's on the floor,
Yeah, she's
on the
sitting.
floor of the office. All those stories that she's talking about with the cleaning lady
Yes.
are stories from my childhood.
Oh,
the
wow.
boy that got hit by a truck in the alley, and
Oh, boy.
all those things were all reflections of me. And even Standing Appointment, the second story, the bad therapy story, all the dreams in that story, because it's so based on dreams, all the dreams are mine.
That guy was a nut, that therapist, to me.
Yeah, you hated him.
He's telling you your problems, but he has his own messed up life going on. He can't even...
He does.
Yeah, he
that
can't...
are far sicker than hers.
Through Standing Appointment, it says sometimes you must face head-on what you are most afraid of.
That was the dream. I dreamt that.
You
That
really...
was the dream I had.
Wow, he misinterpreted it so wrongly. He
He misinterpreted it completely, and it flipped her right out. It flipped her right into insanity.
Wow.
She didn't know whether she was dreaming or if she was really having this, and she stopped him by killing him. And then she just sat on the window ledge and waited to wake up.
Yes, I love
So
the...
she
I love the revenge, though. Out of the book, I get a lot of independence from you, like Mr. Belmont. It seemed like she thought she could find strength in another man. She doesn't have any identity, really. It seems like this girl grew up without knowing herself and always needed to latch onto somebody to gain that independence. But in Mr. Belmont, that comes out like this woman, she was able to grow in herself as a very independent woman. Am I wrong?
Everybody will come up with a different interpretation. For me, a lot of these women, most of the women in the book, most of the women in the short stories have lost their way. Maybe they never found it in the first place, but especially the married women, where their relationships just are slipping away from them, and they don't understand why. They don't understand how this happened, but they are. They're getting to be just kind of take it for granted. We're married, okay, and it doesn't work that way. As a human being, you're growing constantly.
Yes.
And you can grow out of yourself, and you can grow out of the person that you're living with. Unless you keep in touch, unless you stay current, unless you keep talking and keep those lines of communication open, you're going to lose something, and it might be you. Really, a lot of the stories in the book, for me, are about that loss of identity, that growing out of a person that you were, wanting so much to not shake up anything and hang on to what they've got, which isn't much, but they can't do it anymore. They're faced with this real crisis in their lives. They just can't do it anymore.
This is good for men and women. You had such a great, bad, okay, growing up in Chicago as a young kid, but also wonderful because you found the sanctuary with Jackie, who would listen to you sing. And, and you...
That's a great, yeah, I mean, that's what I want. And I was so impressionable, you know, I mean, I was 12 when I met her.
Yeah.
And so she was just, my gosh, I just idolized her. I thought she was just the greatest thing to happen. And,
she was.
And it was a real growing up experience to be around her, to see how life was in a different place, in a different with a single woman that had a child, and it was just an education in itself for me. But the constant in that relationship was jazz. And that was really the whole backdrop to that story is that jazz.
I noticed that. And you became a beatnik. I mean, you would say things like, you imagine, you look, okay, we all did something, right? But at the same, you were really cool. You were really...
I was a beatnik. I was definitely a beatnik.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a beatnik. I don't know about how cool I was. But
I think the words helped. You were saying cool slings as Jackie would drag from her cool cigarettes. This was just wonderful. And do you still keep in touch with Jackie?
Yes.
Oh, that is fabulous to know, because she had so much influence on setting who you are. I really think you didn't have much luck at home. It would be nice if we all inherited the silverware, right? But for some of us, we get other things passed down. I think sometimes it affects mainly people who are more sensitive. There's an artist inside sensitive people, I've noticed. And that's what you found. You found who you really are. Yeah. You're a writer, you're a poet, music. You write music, and that beautiful voice that God has gifted you with.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm just so glad in my life that I had an opportunity to tell you that. Your brother Richard, is he still in Chicago?
No, he's here.
I'm glad.
We're very close. My mother and I are close.
Wonderful, because you have, when I was reading, you had nice walks when you come to, when you come and visit and everything. It's so nice to have that brother that you can reflect off of and talk about how you both struggled through what you had to do.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Such a counsel to me.
Yes.
He has been a loving, steady presence in my life.
Wow. And so much, and also so many fun things that you've done, because we all have had those fun things through the trying times too. Oh, it's wonderful. I feel so connected to you.
Well, see, what you just said is actually the best compliment you could have possibly given me. Because that's why I did this book, to connect.
Oh, wow.
I did not ever think I was going to write this book. I was writing short stories for 30 years. I was putting them in my drawer. They were sitting there. I wasn't going to do anything with these stories. These were my own personal stories, and I wrote them because that's what I like to do. But when I gave them to a few friends a year ago, they gave me so much encouragement that I thought, well, maybe I should try to put something together here. And that's when I re-examined all these stories and edited and added and wrote the emotional memoir pages and found these snapshots that I had taken of Chicago in the 60s
Yes.
and, made it just a personal statement. And why would I want to put it out there? And the only answer really is to connect.
To connect. And that took so much courage from you or from anybody who talks about their life and gives it to the world. You open up your whole world inside and give it out to the world. And this is a highly recommended book. I would tell everybody because
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you got something from it and that you enjoyed reading it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's emotional memoirs and short stories by Lani Hall Alpert. And it's available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and also on your website, LaniHallAlpert.com. Is that correct?
Right.
Do you have any more books coming up in your mind right now?
I do actually. I've started something, but I don't know what it's gonna. I don't know what it's gonna turn into. I never do because, my imagination kind of takes me to places that I have no idea where we're going. But I have started something. I got about 20 pages.
Herb is with you today?
No, he's actually at a meeting in town right now, but he's probably coming. He's probably on his way back now.
Oh, okay. A little dinner together, maybe?
Oh, sure, absolutely. We're going to watch the games. Are you kidding me?
You two lovebird kids.
To the Knicks are playing, and the Spurs and the Warriors are playing after that game.
Wow.
I'm hooked.
Oh, you just lay in his arms and enjoy, and maybe make a little popcorn or something and have a fun time. And
Hey, Bill, it was great to talk to you.
You too, and I look forward to seeing you in Chicago, Lani.
Me too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.